Busy holiday weekend. We had staff on duty at Community Beach in Towers. I was working patrol West End on ATV. It was right at the end of the day. It was probably about 5:30. I wanted to go by OV Beach because it was so busy. And when I got there, there was a lady and she was screaming that her husband was just floating out.
It was me, him, and our younger son. You could not see his head. You could see the top of the raft, and that was it.
It had me going out and sideways at the same time. But I could always see the shore even I was way out because I had my head above water.
I stopped traffic. I was in a bathing suit with swim shoes on, and I stood in the street. I ran back to the beach, and when I got to the steps, I see this ATV, and I was like, thank you, God. And I ran to him, and I was like, my husband is floating out.
We had an offshore wind that day, and it was taken, he was about 300 yards out.
So he looked, and he was like, I'll go get him. He said, watch me. I said, okay. He said, are you looking at me? I said, yeah, I am. He said, keep your eyes on me. He said, I'm going to the water, and I'm gonna get him. I said, you're gonna bring him back? He said, yeah, I'm gonna bring him back. He said, watch me. I said, okay. Without hesitation, put his board in the water, and he swam out.
It was a long paddle. About 200 yards out, I was just praying that I was going to be able to get to him.
He didn't stop. He didn't look back. He swam until he got my husband.
He ended up being 400 yards out by the time I got to him.
He told me just kick a little bit, help him out, kick my legs or whatever I can.
We were able to successfully bring him in. As I was towing him in, I actually got a little help from a boat. And fire was there. We had a lifeguard backup on ATV on shore. This had never happened to me before. Patrons on the beach stood up and applauded. On shore, we spent some time with the family, and it was pretty emotional. I don't know more of an emotional event that I've been involved in.
The 28 years of us being together, we have never had nothing this traumatic happen. So how could we not have Dan as a piece of our life from this point on?
I've personally performed over 800 water rescues in my career, probably about 100 medical resuscitations or backboards. But I've been doing it for a long time. The biggest part is teamwork and communication. So having the lifeguard team where they need to be. And that particular day, we had the lifeguard team where they needed to be, and they were protecting lives on the towers so that I was able to do that. The wife of the gentleman that I pulled in wrote a real nice letter and sent it about it. It went to the mayor and some other folks. A colleague of mine in the Red Cross, when she found out, she submitted it to the national headquarters. And fortunately it was accepted, so I was able to receive the National Life Saving Award from the American Red Cross.
This is the highest award given by the American Red Cross to an individual or team of individuals who saves or sustains a life by using skills and knowledge learned in an American Red Cross Training Services course. This action exemplifies the highest degree of concern of one human being for another who is in distress.
Dan has impacted my life as a professional as well as a person. We worked together for 6 years. Dan thrives on these kinds of moments.
I just love you so much.
And I'm just so thankful that we're able to recognize Dan for what he did and the impact that he had on these people's lives.
I'm Dan's oldest brother. There's 6 of us, 3 boys, 3 girls. And he loved being a beach lifeguard. He went to college, came back, and guess what? Lifeguard, a swimming pool, taking care of people. That's what he's about.
Dan will forever be a part of the Allen family.
It's an honor, and it's very nice. It's great that that I can represent our lifeguard service in the city of Norfolk. I think that's what we live for. It really is. That's why we do what we do, and that's what we've done all our lives, one way or another. And I couldn't imagine doing anything else.